I wanted to look at one thing because obviously we've seen a couple coaching moves. Josh McDaniels already was fired. Frank Reich fired this week. I put together a list of some potential other candidates.
He snuck Mike McCarthy there at the bottom.
Here's the
dick.
I mean, is it out of the realm of possibility that if the Cowboys go into the playoffs and lose to say, okay, case in point, week one of the playoffs this year, if they started today, the Cowboys would play the Fraud Cons.
If they lose that game, you should fire. And
they lose that game. You tell me that Jerry's not going to pull that trigger?
What year is this in McCarthy's?
And to quote a panelist from this show, if he loses a playoff game to the Fraud Cons, he should be launched into the sun.
Fireman of the sun.
Correct.
Get him out. Get him the fuck
out. Jim, you want to do percentage of chances right now based on this?
Sure. So, Brandon Staley.
225%. 100.
220%. 225.
Okay, Kyle, you said 100%?
No, I was making a joke about Josh McDaniels on the list. Listen,
the S stands for sucks.
Thank you, sir. That made me feel good. No, listen, Brandon Staley, I'm going to go 85% because Spanos is unpredictable. But yeah, I think I would be very. Here's going to be my hot take. Watch Kellen Moore at the great frustration of one Jim Neese of the Huddle Up podcast, the CEO in question. Watch him get the head coaching job next year.
They can have him.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's not the Cowboys' problem anymore. Matt, Brandon Staley, odds of getting fired, percent.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's 100%. There was a report earlier today that said, like, barring a quote-unquote miracle, he is going to be fired.
Okay, I'll up mine to 95. Go ahead.
Jim, real quick. 99.9%. All reasons why. The 0.% chance he'll be back next year. Number one, they're cheap. The Spanos fans is cheap. And number two, the Chargers are talented enough to run off the next 6 wins.
Yeah, I still don't think it's going to matter.
It won't happen, but I'm just saying they're talented enough to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a stat that they are since and again, Kyle, you and I have been on the same page with this one. Justin Herbert's been getting the Tony Romo treatment big time by the media. Since he has gotten there, they are a 500 team. They have also given up as many points as they have scored. So,
wow.
Yep.
That is a Romo take. Holy
it is absolutely the Romo treatment.
Right.
When it comes to Justin Herbert.
I may be the biggest Tony Romo non-Cowboy fan in the history of fucking football fans. Seriously.
But you are a Cowboy fan.
Shut the fuck up. Next.
All right, next one. Ron Rivera, Washington.
100%.
Kyle.
I will go 95. Just for all the off the field stuff that matches it too. Like, how do you have a minority owner with the popularity and fame of Magic Johnson and then not bring in Bieniemy as the minority coaching candidate who finally got a shot in this camp?
Matt.
So is this that they are fired or they are not coaching the team?
They are fired as head coach.
Okay, I see where Matt's going.
Fired.
Yeah,
I think he steps down at the end of the season.
I think, if the exact quote is that they're fired 0%.
Okay, let me put it this way, because I think there's another coach on this list that's in a similar boat.
Mm-hmm.
Percentage chance that they are not the head coach of their team.
100%.
And now it's back up to 95 from me. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's 100. I wouldn't be surprised to see him move into some sort of a front office role with the team because I think there's a lot of respect there. But I think him as the head coach has run its course.
Yes.
Todd Bowles, Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna say 35% because they showed some promise this year. They've been kind of frisky in games here and there. But I don't know if the ownership group is going to be impatient also. So, and they're still kind of in the South race too also.
That's not a brag, Kyle.
Well, so are the Panthers, and they just fire their coach, EJ.
Well, Taylor's a moron, so
I'm not going to share in EJ's optimism with his 35%. I will say 75. I don't think him getting fired is a must. EJ does have some legitimate points about moments of shine, but if there's a candidate out there that's, say, done with dealing with the BS within the league he's currently dealing with for a highly prominent organization in the league in question, who also has NFL experience and has taken another team to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I can see what you're saying, Kyle.
I could see what you're saying, sir.
See,
But yeah, listen, and also Tampa Bay apparently being a place where other retirees apparently go to take their final course. But yeah, all the above being said, if the right hire presents themselves or potential hire presents themselves, I think Tampa will take a swing. Otherwise, I think Bowles' job is safe. So
All
yeah,
right.
75.
Matt.
I'd say 50% chance that he's gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like 55, 60. Like I can see them moving on, but I also don't think that post Tom Brady that there's been a whole lot of spice in the cabinet. You know, like they're just they stacked the deck to win a Super Bowl with Brady. They achieved it, and then now they're playing the Rams game. Like if we're being honest about it, like what do we do now? So yeah, I don't know. It's necessarily
people haven't gotten job interviews based on having lunch with Todd Bowles. That's what happens with Sean McVay. So it's a little different, but I see where you're going.
Yeah. Next one, Sean McDermott, Buffalo.
I'm going to go 25%. I do think that if they make the playoffs with that schedule going forward, he'll be fine. If he misses the playoffs, I think it's likely he'll still be the coach next year, but he'll have one of the hottest seats in the league next year.
All right, Kyle.
Captain Fence Sitter strikes again.
No, that's 100%.
Shut the fuck up.
I think
shut up.
No, you had your chance, EJ.
This guy who has spent the entire year reminding us that he picked the Bills to miss the goddamn playoffs in August now is going to sit on the fence. Well, if they make the playoffs and then come out with 25%. Stop it. You yourself think there is at least a 75% chance that McDermott's out the door because you have already picked the Bills to miss the playoffs. For those of us who picked the Bills to make the playoffs, I'm not sure that the playoffs save him even. So I'm going to go 75%.
Yeah, I mean they're currently in the 10 spot. Just saying.
Yeah,
a half game behind though.
80% chance. I think that this is his last season unless he has a huge run deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean
even then, if they get blown out in like the AFC Championship game, I think they look for a fresh voice.
Yeah, we've seen the progression. I've talked about it for multiple seasons on this very show. The Bills are who we thought they were,
but they are who we thought they were.
And yeah, they're not getting any better. I think they're going to make a coaching change. I think it's closer to like 70% that he's gone. Bill Belichick.
I'm going to go 98%.
Right.
I think obviously the situation with him being also the GM as well. I think they're going to present him to either relinquish that job, which I think he'll say no, and then they'll part ways. So I think it's very, very high chance he'll be gone.
Kyle.
I'm with EJ. I'm not going to do anything silly like 98%, but I'll definitely do like a 85, 90%. Yeah, I feel like he will. Until Joey Burke got hurt, I could see the Bengals getting frustrated enough to fire Zach Taylor, and then for Bill Belichick to, in a completely different context, say we're on to Cincinnati. But that'll be. Yeah, no, Burr getting hurt definitely gives Zach Taylor an out to get another year. But I'm not going to tell you where he might go, but I do see a high probability of Belichick departing.
Matt.
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely that he departs at this point. You can tell. Not that he ever looks happy anyway, but he's just miserable this season. And I don't think having zero solutions at quarterback is a thing he's used to. So I think he's going to look for a fresh start somewhere else.
Yeah, if there was a possibility that somehow he could not be GM but remain as head coach, but like that just, I don't know, that feels like it just wouldn't work. Once you have that power, you don't give it up. So I think he has gone from New England. I do think he ends up somewhere else. I'm going to put it in somewhere about the 85-90 range for Belichick. Mike Vrabel, Tennessee.
I'm going to go. I know they said a couple days ago that he's safe, but I'm going to go 5% just to be safe. I don't think it'll happen, for the record. But let's see how they finish up the year with how Levis does. I do think they'll give him the chance to retool the entire team going forward.
You would say retool, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say that. So, but I don't think he'll get fired. I think it's one of the better coaches in the league. To be honest with you, I just think this team's just fucking bad and got old really fast. So I'm gonna go What did I say? 5%? I said, yeah,
5%. Kyle.
Easily your strongest take of the night here is this one, EJ. I don't know that I'm going to go quite as low as 5%, simply because I talked to my friend Teron Davenport at Everbank Stadium after the Jacksonville Jaguar game. Yeah, being to ESPN's Teron Davenport. What a bad mamma jamma he is. Excellent drip, as the kids would say. I can't pull off a bow tie like that. But
TD.
But he had said that the franchise in general has not looked this frustrated since Vrabel's been there. But I don't think that frustration surrounds Vrabel himself. I think EJ's spot on with that. I mean, hell, losing A.J. Brown and then you still found a way to compete for the AFC South last year is in and of itself a pure goddamn miracle. Oh, by the way, Derrick Henry being the only thing you deal with, and he just keeps losing weapons and losing weapons. EJ is spot on with retooling. See what I did there too, to double down.
Thank you.
And yeah, I 5%. I'm going to say 15% simply because I think the Tennessee front office is worse than that.
Fair.
But and of course being backed up by insider information like I get from Teron Davenport.
Matt.
Yeah, give me a low percentage, 5 to 10%. For all the reasons stated, I think that he's earned enough trust with the organization to at least get another year. They just drafted their quarterbacks. Give him some time to see what they can do there.
I'm going to go in the 25% range because if we're not talking about just firing, if/when Belichick is gone from New England, I think there's a possibility of a homecoming there for Vrabel. So I think there's a lot of pieces in play for him to potentially move on from Tennessee.
I'll say that if Vrabel gets fired or whatever, he'll be the hottest name.
Here's the thing: if he gets fired from Tennessee, and I'm not 100% sold that he will get fired, but if he gets fired from Tennessee, and Belichick is gone from New England, I think that is not to lock it up before anything happens, but I think that's going to be the first place that both of those, that team and that coach, look. They're going to longingly search for each other in a crowded room.
So I get why you draw the line, but my take on that is the likelihood of Bob Kraft going for a Belichick light, knowing he should probably get an identity change if he's going to get a new head coach and to do something that has the semblance of a decent offense. I don't see him going for Vrabel or a Belichick type. He's going to be looking, he would probably be more inclined to, I mean, it's cheap to throw out a Harbaugh, but like, I don't know. I can't think of
somebody who's more offensively inclined.
Yeah, right. Certainly that. A name doesn't come to mind. Like if Lincoln Riley got fired, he won't. But if Lincoln Riley got fired, I think he'd have a better shot than Vrabel, for example.
Lincoln Riley were smart. He would just leave Los Angeles. And never
oh my God.
Dennis Allen, New Orleans.
I'll go 20%. I think he's likely he'll have his job, but another guy that, depending how the season ends, will have a very warm to hot seat next year. But I think he will likely be there next year. But give it a shot. This is year 2, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, well, yeah. What has dude had to deal with, but the aftermath of Drew Brees and company, right? You can scapegoat him, and I think that's worth the 20% that EJ throws in. But yeah, this isn't a guy that should be in trouble.
Right. All right, Matt.
Yeah, I would say 5 to 10 for this one too, just because of how early it is in the tenure, and there weren't. I don't think anyone expected, even with Carr coming in, that this was now. Well, someone on this panel said number 1 seed in the NFC, but
did not say that.
No one else has really had that high of expectations for the Saints.
That is a disgusting act.
Matthew did not say
maybe backing into winning.
No, you absolutely you locked them in as your number 1 seed.
I did not say that. Play the tape.
I
mean, every time you ask for the facts or ask us to play the tape, even when presented with these facts, you still deny it.
Relax.
There's a reason he did it perfectly. There's a reason why he's the best black guy I know with his Trump impression.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like 10-15%. Obviously it could happen, but yeah, it's he hasn't been presented with much. I mean, if you're presented with old liver, it's hard to make a 5-course 5-star meal. Matt Eberflus, Chicago.
So this is strange because this similar to like the Chargers, like the McCaskills are very cheap, historically cheap. This is year 2. So while I believe that he's probably going to get fired, I'm not going to put 100%. I'm going to put it about 85-ish% because I think there's a chance. Number one, they've been playing better last couple weeks for starters. And I think if they somehow show some, last 6 games, go 3-3 maybe, then maybe they give him another year reprieve to see what we can do going forward. But I'll put it 85% still.
Kyle.
Playing better this past week. They won a game with 12 fucking points. What are
They
you
still
talking
won.
about?
They still won a game. They're 4-8.
Shut up,
Right?
EJ.
They're still 4-8.
No, right. And
Shut up, bitch.
and Louisville's a top 15 too. You fucking Noler shut. Anyways,
Dumbass.
Don't get mad, bitch. Get even.
but no, this is 100%. I don't even know why he's still here, to be honest. I think the reason he is still here is to not give some other poor sap a hope that they might be able to get in as the acting coach. This is going to be a complete reboot, including a shipping of Justin Fields, rather. And the reason why it's going to be that way is you're going to be in a position to hand a new coach and a new GM an entire goddamn rebuild.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I am going to declare the fat kid in dodgeball defense. This dude is out.
He is out. Matt.
50-50 for me. I'll sit on the fence on this one. I could see it happening. I won't be surprised if it doesn't.
I mean, they are a dumb franchise.
They are.
It's an indictment of the franchise by Matt.
Hence, I said they're cheap as shit.
Here's what I'll say. I'll go 50-50. But if Jim Harbaugh decides to leave the University of Michigan,
you'll shed a tear, but you'll understand.
Well, of course,
you'll shed a
of course. But I would think Sharon Moore should fill in nicely as he has already done. But I think
we love his interviews, don't you?
I think Chicago would be a place that will pursue their former quarterback for that rebuild very, very much. So,
well, that number 1 pick in the draft starters, no matter what happens.
Yeah, it's
looks like a good reason to leave.
I feel like Jim's already writing the parody song off of My Sharona.
Yeah, maybe. All right, and then lastly, again, it seems a little silly now at 8-3, but Mike McCarthy, Dallas.
I'm gonna go 15% because if they do lose in the first round of playoffs, he is done. It's that simple. They have to win at least a playoff game. Okay, bottom line. So, but I don't think that will happen. So,
you don't think they'll win a playoff game?
No, they will.
They'll likely be facing
the fucking Super Bowl. What are you talking about?
I mean,
they'll be playing the number 1 seed New Orleans Saints, most likely.
No, right now it's either
again, Matthew, I did not say that.
You absolutely said it, man.
I did not say that.
Tell you what, you find the table. You didn't say it. How about that? Why put the onus on us? You prove that you didn't say it.
Crooked Hillary. Not joking.
Kyle. Jim, completely fake news.
Yeah.
Your trumpet for all my voice acting on this show. Your Trump impression is far superior to mine. It's not close.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Listen, I
think rude.
I think the biggest problem we have here isn't McCarthy, whether he gets fired, is if when he is fired and it comes time to fire him into the sun, as Big Jim would like. If you know Jim's politics, he's going to take issue with going to SpaceX and giving that job to Elon Musk. Anyways, with all of the above,
we'll leave a NASA mission with that one. I'd be fine giving up tax dollars for that.
I'm willing to think you would think NASA would take too long though to execute. But what I'm trying to get at is this: I don't 25%. Now, granted, if they face the 49ers in the first round, 80%. But
they shouldn't face the 49ers in the first round.
That's why I'm saying you're safe for now. I don't know. And joking aside, I wonder if they lose another game to the 49ers in the postseason, like you would have to wonder if that fatigue works against him as well.
Certainly could.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry's out here this week saying that they have a team that can win a Super Bowl. So
he says that every year. What do we do?
Yeah, but he's getting more of that old man swagger to it, and I fucking hate it. So, I don't know if he's, if bringing Jimmy Johnson back into the fold has made him like stupid nostalgic or what. I don't know what's going on.
I'll say that
crazy old bastard, but I'm starting to dislike it even more.
I'll say this. I don't want to be a fence sitter, so I'll say 51% they fire him.
There you go, Matt.
0% chance.
0.0.
I'll put it around
They
20.
let Jason Garrett coach that team for 10 seasons, Jim. You think McCarthy's
Yeah, but that
gone
guy-
this early?
Great
Matt, that guy is in
I'm
the.
gonna celebrate that point in the most appropriate way fashion.
That's a great point, though, Matt. That's a great
Yeah,
point.
but the difference with Garrett and everybody else is Jason Garrett's in the
Family.
because he played there. So
That's
I
true.
think he got the extra long leash because he was one of Jerry's boys since the early 90s.
Okay.
Mike McCarthy doesn't have that leash.
I apologize. Much like Jason Garrett, I was so busy clapping I didn't see the obvious logic.
That's fine. That's fine.
Let's
No,
go, Kyle.
I think it's around 20. I mean, like I said, right now they're lining up to play the Falcons. Now, here's the deal: if they lose the fucking Falcons, it's 100%. There's no way you don't recover from that.
Any South team they lose to is done.
Well, yeah, but okay, but currently it's the Falcons, and so just shut up and fucking go with it.
If it's the Saints, though, Jim, you can't be too mad.
I was gonna say, I mean,
Exactly. Tell them that, Matt. See, that's a
they're going to
point.
be the number 1 seed. So,
Yeah.
God, I hope it's the Saints and the Cowboys like beat them by 40. EJ, your wife will be so pissed.
Wow.
I'm with you guys. I hate the fucking Saints.
Are
dude.
they the number 1 seed, or is their season over? I just don't understand which it is, EJ.
Well, they're not the Sixers, Kyle. Come on, you
Right.
gotta
They
stay-
didn't
you
lose
gotta-
3 games early on in an
Come on.
82-game season.
All right.